Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video, and I just want to bless you for tuning in today. Just like the title of this video says, it's just becoming very, very mentally challenging for me as a person and as a human being to just continue, trying my possible best to make this whole shit work. And as hard as it is for me to make this video and to just put my own um losses and wins out there, I still think it's for transparency purpose and just being consistent is just best I do it. Um, Today's video is going to be about just talking about everything that happened on this weekend, and I think it's going to be very relatable. I think it's going to be very relatable because this is something that happens to majority of us, and it can be very, very annoying. You know, it can be very challenging as well. And if care is not taken, we might actually give up if we continue on that path. So without further ado, let's just check what we had for this week. So so the first trade I took was on NAS and it was on Thursday. If you guys look at the economic calendar, we had high impact news from Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And the only free day we had was on Thursday and Friday. So that was where I was looking to take my trades from. So my first trade was on Thursday, like I said, and the first thing I waited for usually is my liquidity sweep, which happened around here. I waited for the liquidity sweep. This is not really significant like that, but it also happened around a specific time, which is around 9:30. And you guys know what happened around 9:30, the 9:30 open volatility exactly. So ICT always says something about time and price. So if you always look at certain things that happen during certain times, you would always know that, okay, yes, this can be high probability, this can be low probability, depending on your model and depending on how you understand price. So I took a break even on this day, nothing special. And the same mindset was what I had for Friday. I wanted to go short on the market because NAS is the kind of market I'll call an overbought market. So if you look at the daily, you would see how price has been trading. We traded down, took out this liquidity, and then broke above this high and took out liquidity here as well. So there's something we call TGIF, thank God it's Friday setup, and ICT talks about this a lot because whenever price has been moving in a certain direction, it's likely to take a reversal to correct those movements. And that was what I was expecting that day, which was yesterday. But I took my first trade on Friday on euro dollar, and it was on the same idea of going short because the market was overbought, which was after price took out the liquidity here. We had a bullish momentum moving up here and then taking out this liquidity over here and then over here. So I wanted to see a reversal coming down into maybe an imbalance. So if you go down to the 15 minutes, I'm very sorry, I should have journaled this and that would have made it easier, but like um it is what it is. So this was the idea for Friday. So I wanted to see price move down and then the same idea, liquidity sweep, market structure break, but price wasn't ready to move. And I'm sure I've seen different kind of markets where it usually doesn't move on Friday, but it eventually moves on Monday. The opening candle just explodes down. I've seen it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But majority of the time, that's how it always builds up. And I didn't take a full loss on Eurodollar because of a certain period you're meant to see a certain type of expansion. But on Fridays, we don't usually see those expansions because of it's the last day of the week, and then you know things don't really go as they are meant to go basically. So that was what happened on Friday for Eurodollar, and I think I took about not really even up to a percent. I think more than 0.45%. I think. So the annoyance now, where it's coming from, is coming from NAS. Because, like I told you, the idea I had for NAS was still the same idea I had from Thursday, which is going short. But the only mistake I did now, which is never my fault, but I'll still put the blame on me because, I mean, if you push the blame on something else, that's when you tend to not learn, you know? So for NAS, I could have taken this trade over here. This was my initial setup, but I didn't like how price needed to move so much before it gave me a 1 to 2. That's why I didn't take this trade initially. I wanted to see, because of how price was moving and what price was giving me, I wanted to see a liquidity sweep over here and then another structural break, which would give me a continuation trade. That's what we call a continuation trade. And exactly what I wanted happened. That's how you actually trade. You look at the market, you then see what you want price to do, and then it does it. Maybe not exactly how you want it, but along that direction, because it's your model. You know how your model looks like. So you know that, okay, yes, this is how I want price to read, and this is how I want, the market to, play out. So exactly what I said was exactly what happened. But it was the same way you're seeing the network fucking me up now like this. It's the same way I couldn't even see the chart. I couldn't log in. I couldn't see the chart. I couldn't do shit. And market was moving fast. You guys know NAS. NAS is like a high volatility market. So like it tends to move with speed. And like I was just pissed. I was just pissed. I could have entered this trade on the 2% trade, the one at the same way I used 2% on euro dollar. I could have entered this trade on the 2% trade and just like ball this market out on 3%. Sorry, 3R. That's what 3 times 2 is what 6. I'm back up on break even. But this kind of things happen. This kind of things happen, and it's so frustrating. I'll be honest with you. I would never actually come on here. I didn't even want to make this video initially because I was pissed. But like, I just felt it's best I did it because it's tiring. And I know many of you watching this have experienced this, and you don't have anybody to blame except yourself. How do we resolve this is the main thing now we're meant to be asking ourselves. How do we resolve this? How do we bounce back from this? How do we make it not happen again or repeat itself? I mean, best things best. If you're planning on trading in a certain day, I think it's just best you go to a place where you know that it has good network. And if you're in a bad network place and then it comes back to you, you know that, okay, yeah, this has happened before and I allowed it to happen again. You know, but it's just terrible because we're in Nigeria. The whole place is just fucked up. Nothing works in this place, honestly. So it is what it is, honestly. It is what it is. And the main, like I said, the main reason I'm making this video today is just for my own sake and for you guys to just know how transparent this whole thing is, this whole industry. This is real trading. This is real trading. And as bad as it is, it would work. It will work. So it's like me just shining hope on the whole thing and to show you that, okay, yes, you're not the only one that actually has this whole thing. I go through it as well. Someone out there too goes through it as well. And then we can actually look at this whole thing and then say, okay, yes, we're not alone. You know, we're not. I don't know who is out there who needed to hear this video today, who needed to watch this video, but whoever it is, it's just me just showing you how it's done and showing you how you can bounce back from it. Because I'm sure one thing you can do to yourself now is to beat yourself up, is to get angry, is to get frustrated, and then not know how to bounce back. The mind is very tricky. That's one thing. It's very tricky. You can then look at different scenarios that's happened in your life and then start making you seem as if you're a failure, seem as if nothing goes your way. Whereas it's just, you're not a failure, but it's just how preparation doesn't meet feedback. You know, preparation is meeting delayed feedback basically. And it happens. It's just how life is. It's just how life is. It's not going to be like that always. But the time you're experiencing it, you're meant to just know how to keep your mind in check. That's just it. It's going to be difficult at the beginning, but the same way you started trading and you didn't know shit, and now you know more. It's the same way you start that and you won't know how to control it, but eventually you would. I don't know if I'm making sense. So it's all about that. I really want. I think this is just how I am. So like I don't want it to seem like as if Dave is more serious today because he took a loss. Nah, this is real me, and this is basically how I'm even going to be taking my videos from now on, because like I was trying to do it the YouTube way, make everybody engage and every shit, but shit, it's I don't want to, There's a main reason why we started this, and then we're not going to deviate from it. So yeah, I think that'll be all for now, honestly. And I don't know if that'll be my last trade for this year, but if anything happens again, I'll let you guys know. And until I talk to you guys next time, stay safe.